Welcome back to the session in evolution. It is for the fifth semester BSc Zoology core course paper. Here we are going to deal with the next component of morphological and anatomical evidences of organic evolution. So we have already seen that the parallel and the convergent evolution lead to production of analogous similarities as they perform similar functions, while divergent evolution results in homologous similarities because of descendants from a common ancestor, okay, evolving from a common ancestor or originating from a common ancestor. Okay, now this is the next component that can be taken as an evidence for organic evolution, that is the vestigial organs. So what are actually vestigial organs? Vestigial organs are non-functional, rudimentary, reduced organs found in animals. So there are, we can see there are certain rudimentary organs which have apparently lost their function or no function, while similar organs had been well developed and functional in related forms of animals. It would have like certain organs or certain structures may be non-functional or rudimentary in some animals, and the same structure and organs may be functional in related group of animals. Okay, so that kind of feature can be found, and the non-functional reduced organs in an animal, they are known as vestigial organs. So we can see that these two groups of organisms, one where the organs have got rudimentary, reduced, non-functional, and the same organ in the second group of organisms are functional. Okay, so these two organisms may have evolved from this common ancestor. That is what we can conclude from such the existence of vestigial organs. Okay, now very familiar. Okay, these are a few examples of vestigial organs: cecum and vermiform appendix, and there are plenty other what you call the vestigial organs in humans that we'll be looking in later. Then index finger and birds' wings, bones and hind limbs, in whales and python. Then flightless birds. So what is the function of wings? It is rudimentary, isn't it? So there are plenty of examples, and it is all depicted in this a single figure. Okay, I don't know whether it is clear to you, but when we look into each figure in detail, you will be able to locate examples. Okay, now the first one, it is regarding the vermiform appendix. Here you can see the vermiform appendix. It's a structure associated with the colon. Okay, this is the intestine of human beings. Okay, so vermiform appendix in man, it arises from a short, blindly ending pouch called cecum. Okay, this one appendix, and it is found at the junction where the small intestine joins with the large intestine. Okay, um, in carnivorous animals, the cecum is a short, blind pouch, uh, almost similar to what is found in human beings. But in herbivorous animals, for example, rabbits, the cecum is cecum from which the vermiform appendix arises. It is large, long, and it is functional. In the herbivorous animals, the vermiform appendix are used as a storage compartment for bacteria that aid in or that help in cellulose digestion. Human beings eliminate most of the cellulose, like without any getting anything digested. Hence, we don't use our cecum and vermiform appendix as a what you call storehouse for the bacterial action, okay, or container for the bacterial action. So we don't need them. Actually, it's not functional here, but still what happens is we can see such a very reduced vermiform appendix associated with the colon. So the most reasonable explanation of why do we do have such a structure, it could be that we inherited these structures from a remote ancestor which had a diet that needed the function of vermiform appendix. So when the descendants of this ancestor eventually changed their food habits, the cecum and appendix were no longer useful, and hence it became reduced in size until they became just a remnant of once functional organ. okay, highly reduced structure of one's functional organ. So that is a very good example of a vestigial organ, that is a vermiform appendix. Okay, there are many other vestigial organs, as we have already said, that in human body. Another is the reduced tail. Okay, the caudal vertebrae, the coccyx, reduced tail, the coccyx. Then another is the, you can see, the nictitating membrane or the plica semilunaris. Again, in lower animals or even lower vertebrates, the nictitating membrane is active, functional. You can see even in birds and all, but in humans it is reduced and it forms a small what you call structure associated with the, along the sides of the eyes. Then we have the wisdom tooth. Again, this is a third molar. The body hair present, loss of hairs on the body, but still there is body hair. Then the pointed canine. Obviously, the pointed canine, it is very prominent in the case of carnivorous animals, especially the ones having which need the canine for tearing the flesh. But here it is pointed canine. It is actually a rudimentary structure. Then external ear muscles. Here you can see the auricular or the ear muscles, external ear muscles that are reduced, but the muscles are still present in human beings. In animals and other mammals, you can see that this ear muscles are used for moving their pinna. Okay, but in humans it is non-functional, but still it is retained. The muscles are retained in the human body. Uh, there are plenty of such examples, and according to Weierschein, the human body alone possesses as many as 180 vestigial organs, and which make a human a veritable museum of antiquities. Okay, so it is because there are almost 180 vestigial organs. There are 180 organs which are rudimentary and non-functional, still retained in the human body. Okay, vestigial organs are present in other animals too. You can see here the flightless birds. They have the vestigial wings, but not used in any time. And then that is a rudimentary wings. And then you can see the splint bones of horses, right? And you can see here in the case of the python, the hind limbs as well as the leg bones. Okay, the hind limbs and the pelvic girdle, the bones of the pelvic girdle and the bones of the leg bones, the hind limb, it is still retained, but it is non-functional. Then the eyes of animals living in dark, in caves, the cave dwelling animals, the eyes are not necessary. Similarly, this the in case of crayfishes and insects, cave dwelling fishes, cave dwelling insects, they don't need any eyes, isn't it? So there the eyes are vestigial. So there are plenty of such examples in the animal world. In terms of evolution, when we see, vestigial organs were functional in the remote ancestors, but evolutionary progress has rendered these organs unnecessary, and they are now on their way to disappearance. So to think that they were just created without any purpose, as the special creationists suggest, it is not logical. According to evolution, vestigial organs are relics of organs, relics in the sense remnants, okay, inherited from remote ancestors in whom they were functional. Reduced tail, or the what you call the coccyx, okay, um, of human beings consists of a few imperfect vertebrae, that is, which forms the coccyx. Okay, the coccyx, here you can see the caudal vertebrae together, right? And this suggests that humans have evolved from an ancestor which had a tail, right? Darwin's observation is that it is impossible to find a new species which does not possess at least one or two vestigial organs. That is, all species bear some record of its own descent from the past. There is certain structures that had been present in their ancestors may be present in the like new species. Okay, you can see a few other examples here. That is the reduced hind legs, okay, of the python, and here you can see in the case of the uh, whales, the hind limbs and pelvic girdles again. Okay, So this is a structure, enlarged one, and it is present. But outside, externally, it is not visible and hence it is not functional. So these are again examples of vestigial organs. I hope it is clear. Okay. Another feature which provides evidence for organic evolution, it is atavism. Um, what is atavism? Actually, a reoccurrence of ancestral character after an interval of several generations. That is what is referred as atavism. Okay. For example, sometimes you may have heard of children born with a short visible tail. Uh, Here we can see that it is the inheritance of character possessed by a remote ancestor, and there had been a reoccurrence of the character of the ancestor after an interval of several generations, and this phenomenon is what is referred as the atavism, or it is known as a reversion. So the rare appearance of a third nipple in man, you can see that like abdominal nipple, the presence of abdominal nipple or something like that, the presence of human tail, then like gill slits, you can see here the rudimentary gill slits, occurrence of rudimentary gill slits, then cervical fistula resulting from persistent pharyngeal slit. Okay, the pharyngeal slit may still remain open to form the cervical fistula. Okay, it's very rare cases, but this kind of a thing happens. Um, the gill slits of fishes are represented as pharyngeal pouches in the embryos of other vertebrates. But what happens is before birth itself, these gets completely sealed off. So sometimes in man, the pharyngeal pouch may attain a perforation on the surface of the neck below the ear, and that is what is referred as a cervical fistula. Okay, and this it communicates the throat to the outside, just like the gill slits, the function of gill slits in fishes. So again, profuse development of hair on the face and the body. You can see the thick hair on the body and face. It is similar to that of our ape-like ancestors. It is occasionally reported in man, and uh, abnormal structures of this kind, it is actually reminiscent of normal structures of ancestors. Okay, so in our ancestors, these structures may be present, may have been present, but what happens is during the course of evolution, these may have lost in the what you call intermediate stages of speciation. But what happens due to atavism or due to reversion, some members of the new species may show certain structures of the ancestors, and this phenomenon is known as atavism. So that also shows that we have come from ancestors with all these characters. Okay, so this is about the atavism. I hope it is clear. Okay, thank you.